I think the most difficult day of my week is Fridays, and I'm pretty sure, Jewish mom, that you understand why. So I think that the low point of my week is 12:05 in the afternoon, when my husband brings home my 6-year-old and my almost 3-year-old, my 6-year-old Yoel and my almost 3-year-old Sophia. And because up until that I'm able to like do my own thing in the kitchen and like get things done, and so but by 12:05 I'm cleaning up the kitchen, and so I just know like when these little kids are home, like they're going to be into everything and like and messing it whatever, and everything I'm trying to do is going to take like 5 times longer than usual. So this past week at 12:05, I was working at the sink washing dishes, and my son Yoel comes in and he puts his hand into the pot in the sink into the fleshig sink that I was working at. So this pot, let me to give you some background, that we had just made a sauce. It was like a garlicky, tomatoey, greasy, oily, tomatoey kind of sauce in there. And so Yoel, and so I put some water in it and some soap, so it was like also like watery, soapy, greasy, garlicky, tomatoey mess in that pot. So Yoel comes in and he puts his hand into the pot. So I took his hand out. I said, don't do that. So Yoel puts his hand in again. I say, don't do that. Then he puts it in a third time, puts it into the greasy, tomatoey, garlicky, oily, soapy, watery pot, and I went like this on his hand. Okay. So Yoel's not, Baruch Hashem, I've done a lot of parenting classes. I've done a lot of hours in a lot of parenting classes. Baruch Hashem, I hit my kids. I hit my kids much less than I used to on a rare occasion. But like it does happen occasionally. And so Yoel's not so used to it, so he was really offended and really upset and really angry at me that I hit him. So Yoel, a few hours later, so first of all, I want to just tell you that I learned something very important. I think this is a very important, has nothing to do with this pep talk, but a very important side talk, a side point of something that I learned from my teacher, Rabbinit Yemima Mizrahi, many years ago, and it always stuck with me. She said, who is a bad friend? A bad friend is somebody who brags about her children or her husband. It makes you feel badly about your own, oh, my husband who always takes out the trash every day and does all the laundry and does all the cooking, and my brilliant child and my well-behaved, wonderful child. Because that's a bad friend to have, because then they make you feel bad about and make you feel judgmental of your own husband and children. Okay, so I try very hard. Not to brag about my children and my husband, but I'm going to make an exception in this pep talk. Okay, I'm going to brag about what a brilliant 6-year-old Yoel son I have. I cannot believe how brilliant my son is. So every Friday afternoon, we speak with my parents on Skype. And I speak with them, and all of my kids speak with my parents. So Yoel sits down for his turn at the computer, and he says, and so my parents say, Yoel, how was your week? And Yoel says, Ima hit me. That's a smart son. This knows exactly how to get his Ima in trouble. Okay, moving on. I'm not going to go into my parents' reaction, so another story for another time. But this morning I was in the shuk. I was at the Machane Yehuda market. Baruch Hashem, I have the best possible. My street where I live has upsides and downsides. The downsides I think that you probably all know about. But one of the many upsides of my wonderful neighborhood, my mostly wonderful neighborhood, is I live right next to the shuk. I live right next to my favorite place in the world, the Jerusalem Open Air Market, and I go every Sunday. I go shopping, and for fruits and vegetables and whatever I need. And so this morning I went to the shuk and I picked up 2 lettuces at the lettuce guy. But the lettuce guy, it's pretty early in the morning, the lettuce guy did not have change for it was 8 shekels for 2 lettuces, and he did not have change for my 10 shekel piece. So I said, you know what, I'll come back in a few minutes. I'm going to go and buy some other things at the end of the shuk, and I'll come back and you'll give me the 2 shekels. So I went to the other side of the shuk, and about maybe 15 minutes later, I came back, and I said to the guy, I said, oh, I'm back, could I have the 2 shekels? He said, no problem, gave me the 2 shekels. And I saw that in the meantime, when when I had been before, had out like the leftover lettuces from Friday, and like they were all like they were pretty small. So I picked up these two little lettuces, and now he'd put up the beautiful new Sunday lettuces, and they were really probably literally twice the size of the ones that I had chosen. So I said thank you for the 2 shekels, and I'm just gonna switch. I'm gonna switch the ones I took, and I'm gonna take big lettuces in place of. And he had no lack. He had a lot of lettuces. And he said, you're gonna do what? I said, well, I took these little lettuces, and I'm gonna take big ones. He said, what? I'm gonna take big lettuces. No, you're not. You're not. You're not taking new lettuces. He said, you didn't pay 10 shekels you didn't pay 10 shekels per lettuce. You paid 4 shekels. You don't own all these lettuces. This store doesn't belong to you. The world doesn't belong to you. You're not taking new lettuces. And I was a bit taken aback. I'm used to being, I'm like a religious married woman, and religious married women in the shuk get treated very, very, very well. Sort of like royalty, sort of like queens. I'm used to getting treated really, really, really well in the shuk, and all of a sudden I was like, why? Like he was treating me like a child. So I felt really bad. It felt really, really bad to be treated that way. I felt like I'd been hit in the stomach or something, like kicked in the stomach. I just felt terrible. It took me like a few minutes, recover from that, getting yelled at. And it made me realize, what Yoel must have felt, what Yoel must have felt like on Friday. So I just want to bless you, Jewish moms, and bless myself, that I know it's really hard. Our kids drive us crazy. I know my kids drive me crazy. And for all their wonderful aspects, my kids, especially my 6-year-old and my almost 3-year-old, they really drive me crazy, and I can really lose it with them, and it can be like a whole day, and I can just be so grouchy with them, stop it, don't do that, out of here, da 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 da, and just that God should bless us, that we should remember what it feels like, how terrible it feels when someone snaps at you, when someone gets angry at you, even if someone isn't hitting you, actually, I wasn't actually hit in the shuk, but it felt so bad. And just imagine if I had been hit. But just leaving the hitting thing aside, we should try to remember with our children to be as kind to them, to treat them as kindly as we would like to be treated. And bless all of you Jewish moms with an amazing, amazing week.